Obviously, Harry Potter is a very well-known IP, and there's a precedent there that the fans are expecting. And as we approached the material and thinking about the experience and how to bring the first virtual reality experience within the world of Harry Potter, the real challenge was making sure we don't mess it up. That quickly led to, okay, we've worked all of that out, we know what we're doing, and now it's very much how do we roll up our sleeves and get the job done.
When you're working in the midst of a game as complicated as Harry Potter was, there are a lot of things that you are finding that are friction points. Like, just dealing with a lot of, onboarding new staff to the production and just kind of getting them associated with the product is a challenge that you don't factor in when you're in the middle of it. The word is, Wevr Virtual Studio. What we believe is that there's a lot of game makers around the world that don't have formal studios infrastructure set up for them. And so what we're really trying to provide them is like a virtual studio platform.
We started the project, there was a very long, slow ramp up to this particular project. And when it ramped up quite quickly, and we were using a lot of people who were remote, even before COVID. There was our teams that were spread around, both here in the US and internationally. And so we did have experience with remote development. But it wasn't around the core of the product, the thing that makes the builds, the thing that the engineers look at. And when we went remote with that, there was a lot of bottlenecks that got exposed that we just didn't have to deal with before. And so out of that came a lot of ideas as to like, how do you operate a team where the core of the team is distributed, not just some artists or some asset creation work.
Moving everyone remote actually introduced a whole different sort of set of problems. This is how do you communicate with each other? How do you see your daily work as a combined product? And so that really had forced Marcel to kind of think about how to do all that and solve those sort of problems in real time. When we kind of pulled off the project, I think Marcel was able to kind of think about all these little gotchas that we're doing, and we were like, we wanted to make sure that like the next production that we were going to work on, we could easily think about anyone in the world joining our production, whether they're a full-time employee or a contractor, that they could get onto the system quickly, find their work, and easily pull down the source code, start working on their part of the project, and easily get the source code back up to the core engineering team. And for any producer or game designer, they could actually get a build as fast as they can without sort of asking anybody. And so that was kind of an aspiration, and we're like, can we do that?
We started working on it almost immediately after Harry Potter finished because the ideas were already gelling in terms of this is something that if it had been there to buy, we would have bought it right away, and so would have a lot of other studios.
Really simply, it's a place for them to manage their team, and they can manage their source code of their project, and they can actually run sophisticated automations to run builds for their software. That's all in one place that's securely managed by them, and it scales based on their need. So it's really sort of versatile, and what we're really trying to get is a sort of global game community to focus on making the game fun and special and not worry about their pipeline and sort of like the cloud computing infrastructure.
The core of it is really about maintaining that creative flow, right? Where you really want to see your idea kind of in the build, expressed in your game or in your application as quickly as possible. And as much as possible, all of the stuff that gets in the way of that, whether it's importing and exporting of files, whether it's keeping track of versions, whether it's actually generating those builds in a way that's not even taking up your machine, that's where I think the game-changing aspect of a virtual studio comes into place.
The more that we can sort of create stuff that's shared for all of us to use, the better we can make our own individual products. Finding the fun, the game mechanics, something that's really exciting for the user, and less worrying about how to make it. We hope that other teams kind of find it and actually go, this is great, we can use that, because we know that our next production that we're going to work on, we'll use it because we are going to be distributed, we're going to be remote.